Welcome to Walthamstow Wrinkly walks to our wetlands and surrounding lake areas. We are all on a learning curve for this ramble, as I have only recently found time to visit. So we'll tell you of the opening and closing times, local transport links, car parking's pricing and availability, refreshment stops, entrances and exits, and most importantly, walking times around each reservoir so you can plan your adventure for a long or short jaunts. There are very good transport links at Blackhorse Road and Tottenham Hale underground stations, and are just 2 bus stops or a 10-minute walk away from the wetlands. Both stations have got good interconnections, say Barking, Gospel Oak, Victoria Line, Liverpool Street, Stratford, Harlow, Cambridge. The 10 reservoirs that make up the wetlands are split approximately in half by Forest Road, Ferry Lane, with car park and main entrance opposite the ferry boat inn, which is a great watering or eating place, or if you prefer, there's a great cafe within the wetlands engine house. The grounds are open from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. October to March, with last entry at 3 p.m. and 9:30 to 5 p.m. April to September, with last entry at 4 p.m. Gates are locked at closing time, so don't be caught out. Limited parking is opposite in Ferry Boat Inn with similar prices. Payment by cash or card. There's no alcohol, dogs or swimming allowed in the wetlands, but bicycles are. The name wetlands are a little misleading, and only normal sensible clothing and footwear needed, as well-maintained pathways are abundant with very few exceptions. Weather conditions are of course common sense. Entering the engine house, we find the reception area where staff are knowledgeable and will happily help with any query. There's a great souvenir shop, entrance to the cafe and outside eating area. There's a stairway to art type exhibits and a viewing balcony. The chimney stack was demolished in 1960 when heating was converted from coal to electric by this swift tower with 54 nesting boxes for swifts and a bat sanctuary. This notice board is regularly updated listing rare bird sightings. There are a number of grassed areas around the engine house. Some are for the public, others are restricted to school trips and other sort of social events. Before rambling around the high and low, Maynard and Lockwood reservoirs, we wander around the enclosed picnic area called the paddock, to the left of the ferry boat inn. The paddock has 3 or 4 seated benches and is ideal for a picnic or to eat your sandwiches with a flask of coffee. The paddock is still in a redevelopment stage, but it's still a very pleasant area to walk around. We leave the paddock and cross the 1915 replacement 16th century bridge, where one of the 2 original ferries from Ferry Lane was moored, and past the ferry boat inn by the side which was the original heron sanctuary until re-established into the wetlands. Entering number 2 wetlands main gate, we start our ramble around the lower Maynard Reservoir, which is the smaller of the 3 northern reservoirs. Strolling around takes about 30 minutes at a leisurely pace. There's very few rules to adhere to. There's no alcohol, swimming, paddling or barbecues allowed, but cycling and jogging is allowed in most areas. and obviously you take your litter home with you. Which now leads us back to the High Maynard Reservoir to start another ramble. To the right of High Maynard runs Forest Road, leading to Blackhorse Road Underground Station. Then runs beside the new apartment blocks in Blackhorse Lane, leading to Uplands Trading Estate, containing the Beer Mile, a great evening venture to visit with independent brewers and a choice of beer gardens. One's designed as a seaside beach with sand, shallows, deck chairs, etc. It's a very yuppie place, but great fun. They also have large TV screens showing the best sporting events. To the left is Heron Island, and I believe it's the new Heron Sanctuary, which used to be beside the Ferryboat Inn. Coming up to our right is the Lockwood Road gate entrance. This is where we'll be starting our next ramble around the Lockwood Reservoirs shortly. We carry on around the High Maynard with Lockwood Reservoir to our right. This High Maynard ramble takes about 40 minutes at a reasonable pace. We finish this jaunt where we started, and we'll start the next jaunt at Lockwood Gate. The third, and indeed the largest and highest of the northern reservoirs, is the Lockwood, so appropriately we will start our ramble at the Lockwood Gate mentioned earlier in our walk. This gate is located along Blackhorse Lane and serviced by the 158 bus route. As we climb the steps to the Lockwood, there's two notices prohibiting cycling and jogging as to not alarm the nesting birds community. Leading up to a gated part of the reservoir, we have great views including Tottenham Hotspur's new stadium. The permitted area beyond the gate is for fishermen, bird watchers and organised walking tours, and it covers about 50% of the reservoir. Selfishly, because I have earlier fond and sad memories of Lockwood and intend to get a permit, I'll venture beyond the gate. In the 1980s or 90s, before this wonderful wetlands was thought of, there was meadow or marsh type land leading to the reservoirs with large gaps in the protecting fence. Locals took it as their right to use the pebble type beach area for swimming, sunbathing and picnics. This came to an abrupt halt when a youngster dived off the pump tower as the pumps were started, with fatal consequences. I believe the water pump tower is now being repointed. The 10 reservoirs making their wetlands were started with the first being constructed in 1866 and the last being completed in 1903, supplying fresh water to large parts of London. The wetlands concept was conceived in 2017 with a £10 million grant from the Lottery, Waltham Forest Council and a number of other local concerns. Thank you. So we come to the end of our jaunt around the Lockwood, which takes about 50 minutes to an hour if you are able to circumnavigate its entirety. That's the last of the wetlands northern reservoirs, and I hope I've encouraged you to make a visit. In my next video, we pop over the road and ramble around the remaining 7 reservoirs and hope you'll join me. Thank you for your company. Bye.